daily booster for your everyday conversations. The world is on fire. From the forests of California to the grasslands of Australia, from the swamps of the Amazon to the icy wilderness of the Arctic Circle, wildfires are happening more frequently with greater intensity. But why? What's fueling this global firestorm? Today, we explore why wildfires are spreading at unprecedented rates and how this alarming trend is reshaping our planet. Let's start with the biggest force behind the rise of wildfires: climate change. Over the past century, the planet has warmed by an average of 1.2 degrees Celsius. While that may not sound like much, it's enough to turn the planet into a tinderbox. As the Earth warms, we're seeing longer dry spells, hotter temperatures, and more intense droughts. These conditions make vegetation drier, and when lightning strikes or human activity sparks a fire, these dry fuels ignite more easily. In fact, studies show that a warmer climate extends fire seasons. In some areas, fire season has become almost year-round, with longer windows for flames to spread. But it's not just nature that's to blame. Human activity plays a significant role in both starting and fueling these fires. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by humans through things like campfires left unattended, discarded cigarette butts, and faulty power lines. But even our actions to control fire can make things worse. Urban sprawl and the clearing of land for agriculture often bring us closer to wild areas, creating more opportunities for sparks to fly. As more people encroach on natural habitats, they're not only increasing the likelihood of starting fires, but they're also disrupting the land's natural fire cycles. Fire can be an important part of an ecosystem's health, but when it's ignited outside of its normal rhythm, it can turn into an uncontrollable beast. Effective forest management is another piece of the puzzle. For centuries, fire was a natural force in many ecosystems. Native peoples used fire as a tool to manage the land, promoting healthier forests and clearing space for agriculture. But in modern times, we've restricted fire's role in nature. Fires that are suppressed for too long build up dangerous amounts of dead trees, underbrush, and dry vegetation fuel for even bigger, more catastrophic fires. By not allowing smaller controlled burns, we inadvertently create the conditions for large-scale, devastating wildfires. Now, instead of controlled small-scale fires, we're dealing with massive wildfires that are harder to control and more destructive. Wildfires leave behind more than just burned buildings and smouldering trees. They impact ecosystems in profound ways as it can disrupt entire habitats. For species that rely on specific ecosystems, the sudden destruction of their environment can be deadly. In some cases, these fires are so intense that they make it difficult for forests to regenerate. The loss of biodiversity can be staggering. While fires do have a role in the regeneration of certain ecosystems, when they become too frequent or intense, they can shift the balance. Some areas may never recover. The rise in wildfires isn't just a regional concern, it's a global crisis. There are certain regions where wildfires have become a regular, devastating threat. Let's look at some of the most notorious wildfire hotspots around the world. California, a state notorious for its wildfires, has seen its fire season extend in recent years. The combination of drought, record heat waves, and dense vegetation has created ideal conditions for fires to spread rapidly. The all-year-round warm weather, which is one of the biggest reasons why people are drawn to California, is getting hotter and hotter every year. But this is making things worse for the wildfires. In 2020 alone, over 4 million acres were burned in the state, setting a new record. Los Angeles residents are starting the year of 2025 with multiple apocalyptic wildfires, the Hearst and Palisades fire, which are already making people around the globe worry for what's to come for rest of the year. Wildfires in California are just getting worse, and they're burning hotter and faster. With the effects of climate change, we can expect this trend to continue unless we take much stronger action. Australia's fire seasons have become legendary for their intensity. The 2019-2020 Black Summer was a particularly devastating season, where over 18 million acres burned, destroying homes, wildlife, and entire communities. Prolonged drought, rising temperatures, and strong winds have contributed to making Australia a global wildfire hotspot. Australia's fire seasons are becoming longer and more severe, and we're already seeing the ecological consequences of these megafires. Many species, like the iconic koala, are at risk of extinction. In the Amazon rainforest, wildfires are not just a natural occurrence. These fires are often deliberately set to clear land for agriculture, exacerbated by political policies and illegal deforestation. The Amazon, often referred to as the lungs of the Earth, is crucial for regulating the planet's carbon balance. Yet, it has faced alarming rates of deforestation and fire outbreaks, especially in recent years. Fires in the Amazon contribute to a vicious cycle of climate change. The more the forest is destroyed, the more carbon is released into the atmosphere, accelerating global warming and creating even more favorable conditions for future fires. The Mediterranean basin is another region where wildfires are becoming more common. In countries like Greece, Spain, and Portugal, extreme heat waves and prolonged droughts have led to massive wildfires in both rural and urban areas. Fire seasons here are growing longer, and the threat to both biodiversity and human life is significant. Wildfires in the Mediterranean are often driven by human factors such as reckless tourists, land clearing, and poor management practices combined with the increasingly hot and dry conditions. We've seen larger fires that threaten both lives and livelihoods. Siberia, a region known for its freezing temperatures, has also become a hotspot for wildfires. In recent years, wildfires have burned vast stretches of the Siberian taiga, releasing enormous amounts of carbon into the atmosphere. Higher than average temperatures and less predictable weather patterns are making these once rare fires more frequent and severe. Siberian wildfires are now burning deeper into the permafrost regions, which was once unimaginable. As the ground thaws, more fuel for fire is exposed, creating a dangerous feedback loop. But how exactly do these fires grow so rapidly and become so dangerous? Understanding fire behavior is key to predicting and mitigating their impacts. Fires behave differently based on their environment. A fire in a grassland will spread much faster than one in a forest. But when conditions are right, high winds, dry vegetation, and steep terrain, fires can explode in size and intensity. In recent years, we've seen firestorms with flames reaching 100 feet high, something that wasn't common in the past. Technological advances like satellite monitoring and fire tracking software are helping us understand these behaviors. But predicting fire growth remains a major challenge. So, what can be done? Prevention is key, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. But we can take action on multiple fronts. Controlled burns, also known as prescribed fires, are one way to reduce the fuel load in forests. While it may seem counterintuitive to set fire to land deliberately, it's often the best way to prevent larger, more destructive wildfires down the line. Another approach is improving the resilience of communities. Fire-resistant building materials, better land use planning, and early warning systems can help mitigate the damage. We can design communities to be more fire-resistant. There are even fire-resistant landscaping techniques that can protect homes from wildfires. As fires rage across the globe, the question remains, can we find a way to live with fire and reduce its destructive power? The answer may lie in a combination of better land management, stronger global action on climate change, and more awareness of our own role in fire prevention. We have the tools to make a difference. It's a matter of changing our approach, investing in sustainable practices, and taking collective action to address the root causes of the problem: climate change, land degradation, and human influence. The fires are burning brighter, but they don't have to be the future we accept. By adapting, learning from the past, and working together, we can hope to put out the flames before they consume the world. Remember, the world is on fire, but it's not too late to extinguish the flames. Will we rise to the challenge? Only time will tell.